Okay, what's up internet? This will be a tutorial of how to exchange the brake pads on the BMW G650GS. This is a 2014 model. The tools for the job is, of course, we're going to need the brake pads themselves. Those are the golfer, and then we will need a hammer. We're gonna need a plier with a point, 50mm heck nut, and of course torque wrench. We will use also a brake cleaner. So without any further ado, let's start. So we're gonna have to open those screws. Careful not to strip those screws as well. And be careful that the brake fluid won't fall on any part of your bike, because this is very corrosive. It can actually damage the paint. And of course, be careful for your eyes. Theoretically, or preferably, work with gloves. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm just gonna extract some of the brake fluid with a syringe. Be careful not to take too much of it, and we will top it up at the end of this process. Okay, so in order to release the brake pads, we will have to release this safety security pin and then force the rod outside. So that's what the manual calls for. So make sure that you know that you can see that the pin is inserted. After removing this pin, keep it in a safe place. Do not lose it. It's not going to be easy to replace, I don't think so. Okay, so now we will have to force the pin out, and it's basically generally going onto that direction as seen. So I'm gonna use a soft hammer just to force it slowly. Okay, and here's the pin. The pin is coming out, and I can already immediately feel that the brake pads want to come out. Okay, so we're gonna have to keep it safe, and we're gonna clean it and lubricate it afterwards. So we're holding it into place, and I don't know if it's easier to see how the brake pads are right now. Okay, so what we'll have to do is to open those bolts and release the whole caliper from the disc brake. Okay, so now we're gonna have to loosen those bolts with a 50mm heck, and there afterwards we will need to tighten them to 41 Nm. So okay, as well, keep it in a safe place. And now when we pull it out, I'll try not to. Okay, so here it is. You can see the brake pad, and we can see the order that they are assembled. And you can see, let's see the comparison between the new and the old. So basically I can see about 1.1 millimeter when I checked, and I think that the recommendation is 1.5, so I decided just to change them, and so you can see the difference between them. Okay, so now at this time it's a good idea basically to try to put it together again so we can push those pistons in. If you don't have a special tool for it, it's easier to use all the brake pads, so you don't need to damage the new ones. So what I'll do, I'm going to force a screwdriver and gently push those pistons inwards. Okay, so that's done. So now it's a good idea just to inspect and clean the caliper and inspect it for any damages. So I'm going to use a brake cleaner just like this and clean it so I can see and inspect. In any case, it's a good idea to check that the seals here are in good condition and inspect the disc before you install the new. So I can see that everything looks in good condition. Of course, we don't want to contaminate this surface. Okay, so before we installing the new brake pads into the caliper, it is recommended just to put a little bit of grease on the back, because the vibration causing the noise that you know. So what I will do, I am going to put a little bit. Be careful not to put it in the wrong side, because that will render the brake pad useless and your braking capability will suffer. So I'm just putting a little bit at the back, and just because I touched the grease, it will force me now to work with the gloves, so I'm not contaminating those brake pads. So here I am. So I'm sure that you are some people looking at me and thinking, oh my god, he's not working with gloves. So I'm not intend to say that I'm professional in whatsoever way, because I'm not. I'm just try to do it. This is my first time and I think it's so far so good, it's going well, but I'll tell you later on how it went. And so I hope that you see more details, because I couldn't see a lot of details when I looked at other people's videos. So here it is. This is how we assemble it. We're putting it together. Okay, and now we can on the brake and try to align it so that the screws will fit correctly. So just finger tighten just to hold it in place. Okay, so it's finger tight, and now we're going to have to insert the security pin. Okay, so again with the pin we're going to need to lubricate it. So I'm going to use my fingers, not to put too much, just gently cover it. That's a little bit too much, so I'm just going to remove the excess. That's in order for the pin to slide easily into the respective slots. What's need to be done is to remember to align it. To align both of them. Okay, so now make sure that the pin is entering and into the slot. And now, just to make sure that the holes basically for the security pin is adjusted towards the radiator, to say. So now I'm going to force it back in, and it looks like it's done. So now we have to just insert the security pin in, and that's I'm guessing almost close to the end of the work. And there it is. So the security pin is inserted. Okay, so what's left for us to do is to tighten those bolts to 41 Newton meters according to the manual. And so we're gonna tighten until we hear a click. Okay. And this one. And we can actually see that those lines that BMW previously marked are perfectly aligned with this torque setting. So now what we have to do is just check our brake reservoir and see if it's full enough. And I can see through the glass that it is full, so there's no need to actually top up for now. Okay, so now we have to just pump the brakes a little bit, so we can see that it's pressing on the disc until it feels like there is a resistance. And now we can see in the glass that it's still full, so I don't need to top up, but we're gonna have to take it for a test drive and check it out. Now be aware that the first ride you're most probably not gonna have the same braking capabilities, so that will have to be a very, very caution in a place that there's not too much traffic, so you can test the brakes. So let's see you just now with testing the bike. Okay, so it's a good time to go ahead and test the brakes. So, and we're gonna do just a short ride here. Okay, so I'm using the front brakes while backing off, and so far it looks good. Okay, I can definitely feel that the brake is a little bit faded, so you have to be very careful. So you have to give it a few rides to bleed it, and I can feel it becomes better and better as I'm going. And brakes, yeah, but it's got a power if you're pressing. A nice bike. Oh yeah, now I got a very good oomph, very good. So it feels good. But I can see that it's gonna take a while before the brakes will be as sharp as they should be. Yeah, it's good. So I can't speed in here. This is residential. Yeah, and the brakes feels good. And that looks good. So guys, if you enjoy this content, Feel free to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. I hope you enjoy that. We'll see you on the next tutorial. Thank you very much.